Open law, we'll get started. This should be pretty quick tonight because we don't, Laura, since you sent stuff out, did we have any correspondence or anything? No late correspondence today?
No correspondence for this meeting, no.
Okay, so we had no public correspondence. And then D, that was great of you to get your report out today so that we could review it. If you haven't checked your email, D sent out a report today to peruse through. And then Laura updated some of the minutes from last month to notate some of the commissioner comments. So first thing I'll do is I'll call the order to meeting, call the meeting to order in the proper order. And then the first thing we have to do is accept the minutes. Did you guys see any of the updated minutes that Laura sent out? Okay. Right, is there anyone who has a problem with accepting that? No?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. And it's accepted. Next order of business, correspondence. There is no correspondence. And there is no live public comment on this board tonight. So we'll move to old business. Does anybody have any old business that they'd like to bring up? D on old business, anything with pickleball?
No, there's been no change. The town has made no adjustments to the capital plan for the coming year. So it's a status quo for any of those projects, at least until, well, now it'll be probably 2021, 22. So no.
Okay. Have you gotten any informal correspondence or contact from the pickleball people since last meeting?
No, they prior to the last meeting, they pretty much said they were going to try to find other avenues to continue their league in other areas until such time as our courts were more suitable for them. So nothing's changed since then. We've had other people that have taken out some permits, but not the league that had been traditionally down in Unity Park.
Okay. How about the BMX tournament? Have you heard anything since they came to us last month?
Nope. My understanding is everything is on track for. Sorry, everything's going along. I'm sorry, Bill. Everything's doing just fine. No issues up there right now. It seems like that's going to be a go.
Okay. Anyone else on old business? No. Okay, new business. Any new business? I believe most of the new business will be brought up under Dimitri's report, but does any commissioner have anything that they've been hearing?
Well, I think it has to, I have heard stuff about, the new arrangement for the pools, but will that come up later when we discuss the new business?
Sure.
Yeah, we're on new business now, but that will probably come up when D goes through his report items.
So better to wait?
Well, we can bring it up now.
Well, so I think it is pretty clever, the reservation system. And there have been changes. I've actually used it. So one of the concerns, which I don't think there's really a fix, is that it's sort of hard now that people have gotten pretty savvy. As soon as it goes live, I mean, you have to be a ninja to really, to really get in there. One question I have though, D, is if someone cancels their reservation, does that then open up a slot in that time period?
Well, there is a cancellation protocol, so they have to cancel X number of hours prior to the scheduled reservation. If they do that, yes, it goes back up live for people to go for it. If they don't cancel the reservation in the prescribed time period, it's like a ding against them because it's effectively prohibiting somebody from being able to get that slot.
Yeah.
So it's all laid out in the fine print that's pretty large font, but it has been a bit of a challenge. You're right. There are a number of people. I should hire some of them to get me Pearl Jam tickets when they go on sale because it's a guarantee. We're down to a session. I think our quickest sellout is 47 seconds. It's amazing. And every time we try to make it a little bit more cumbersome, they still find a way around it. But it's not consistently the same people. It's just that was the first challenge we had. We saw the flaw in our system that the reservation program that we just initially went to allows people to select a billion different time slots, and so they did. It's like, oh no, that's a mistake. And so we whittled them out slowly but surely, and then really what we're seeing is just the sheer number of people wanting a reservation slot. Very few are consistently getting a slot. Just a lot of our residents want to go to the pool.
Yeah, and I'd like to commend the ID checker at Tashua Pool. I don't know his name, but he's doing a really good job with that.
Thank you. I'm very proud of a lot of our staff this year. Very mature, very responsible. I think very pleasant under somewhat difficult circumstances. So, yeah, I'm very pleased.
Maybe thought about taking down like a name and a possible credit card like Tashua Knowles does.
The credit card is for John. What will we do with that?
You know, like Tashua Knowles, they take down like a card, so they can't just take down all the slots they want. Take down a card number. They can't just take down all the slots they potentially want and don't get charged for it.
Don't know how that would work exactly.
Okay.
In our system.
I can see how that would work for the golf because they're going to have to pay for golf where there's no charge for the pool. So that may be difficult.
Okay.
Well,
Not if you wanted to charge them for not showing up.
That's what I mean. Something like that, but for not showing up.
Oh, a financial penalty.
Like a fine for not showing up.
Well,
So
I mean, my real goal is to try to open up more spaces, and when they fumble that up, if they do that, they're just knocked out. Their name is taken out of contention for a solid week. They did it twice. They're out for the remainder of the year.
Are they just allowed to book one session a day, or can they do multiple sessions?
It depends on the day. The reason being is that the office isn't staffed 7 days a week. And so the only day where they can book multiples is on Thursday, the last session on Thursday, which will allow them to book Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But the remainder of the week, it's one session at a time, one of the 3 sessions at each pool, 10 or 10:30, 12 or 12:30, that kind of thing.
And if, Nancy, if you were talking about the checker, the young man that was at Tashua,
yeah,
his name is Justin.
a big guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dimitri, you know who I mean?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, he does a nice job there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And my other little concern is not about the pools, is about the stickers. And I totally understand why the stickers got mailed and all of that. But I put a green sticker on, it took me some effort to get all my red stickers off. And so now I really need to scrape the green ones off and put the blue ones on.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being penalized for doing the right thing.
Well,
Go to a auto parts store and get a scraper that has the thing you can scrape it right off with the razor.
stop by the office. I'll take care of it for you. It's a courtesy for all of our commissioners.
So that's the thing. We got to have the blue one on for Saturday or something.
Yeah, the blue one actually is will carry you longer than the green
Yeah.
one. So at some point or another, the little extra effort will get you a little bit more time.
So from now on, you think we'll continue to mail out the new stickers with the tax bills?
Well, I think that's the intent.
Yeah.
You know, we got it this far. It certainly was a major undertaking, and for the most part, it worked. You know, a lot of the concerns of well, you know, what about the lease vehicles, and you know, there were a lot of moving parts to it. It showed that it can work. You know, there were a couple of printing errors. Some of the stickers, you know, were slightly off of square on the printing sheet, and you know, and the printing company made good with that. But those were the vast minority. Any of the other stuff we're just addressing at the office, you know, through our office window, and for the most part, it's working out quite well. So
Okay.
I'd say yes. I think for the most part, it will actually reduce office time,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing anytime. It's especially a good thing if we're still playing the COVID hoedown as we move forward, which I hope not.
No, me too.
I had one person that asked me two questions today. One on the stickers, and that's for leased vehicles. They had a leased vehicle and hadn't gotten their sticker yet. What happens with a lease vehicle?
Well, it's entirely about when they leased the vehicle. So if they came after at the October cutoff period, they wouldn't have gotten the sticker automatically. We can issue them in this cycle, in this next 6-month cycle, we'll issue them a temporary, either a hang tag, or we have an office sticker that we can distribute as well. But by the time it comes around to the next tax cycle, they'll be there because they'll show up in the mailings. It's all about the timing of the leased vehicle. Most of the ones that didn't get it, that had a leased vehicle, it was just the timing of when they leased.
Okay, that makes sense. And the other question was, and I know the answer, but if you could get it on record and explain to the commissioners why people can't just show up at the pool, like say they're driving by the pool and they're like, geez, there's not 50 people here. Why can't I come in? Because obviously people didn't show. Can you explain the reason why you can't do that?
Yeah, primarily the entire protocol is based around the contact tracing requirements. So that's why we're going through all of this trouble. We know who's there and why and when and so forth. So as I said, for example, on Saturday, somebody on the tail end of a session, they always come out each session pretty much packed, and then they decline because not everybody wants to stay for an entire 2 hours. Somebody would drive by. There's no real way that we can put all of that information anywhere in a timely manner if there was an issue that broke up around COVID. So we manage that. There's a strict number of people that are allowed based on the square footage of either the pool's deck or the surface of the basin of the pool, whichever is smaller. That's why they're almost identical numbers. Tashua's deck is much larger, even though its pool is almost half the size of Beach's, and vice versa. It's a gigantic basin at Beach's and a very small deck at the Beach Memorial Site. It comes out around 52 people without staff at any given time. So it's just adhering to the protocols that have been put forth by the state and the CDC.
Okay, that's obviously is a good and pertinent answer to that question. Okay, so we're still on new business. Hi, Brian. I see you just signed on. Anything else under new business? Brian, you have anything we're on new business now. You have anything you want to bring up?
No, sir.
You haven't heard any rumblings out there or anything that needs to be addressed?
On my side.
That's a good sign. Okay, that brings us to the superintendent's report, which is printed and has been distributed. But Dee, if you kind of want to go over that, maybe highlight some of the things.
Sure. So pools pretty much have been a hit, even in their reduced capacity, obviously. They're always popular, and there's no likelihood that these things are not ever going to be used, in my opinion. So good thing that we did what we did there. On the other hand, camps are very poor in terms of the overall showing of participation. The numbers are decreasing, and people are pretty steadily pulling out their children as the weeks go on. But it was an attempt at trying to offer something for those who probably needed it the most. But I think most people have managed to find alternatives, or are still very concerned both about the offering and what we can effectively do, or for what the enjoyment their children would have at such a restrictive camp. So if we were in a similar situation, and again, I hate thinking this way, but if we are, I would seriously speak about considering not running the camps, at least in their current format. It's just not practical. Hot days are awful. We have to cut them off at a specific point. We can't take them anywhere. We can't bring people in. It's a very limited thing. So camps were definitely not the big win for the season. As far as recreational athletics, baseball is in full swing. This might as well be April. We're running tournaments as we speak. I've pissed off everybody in town, by the way, because I prematurely closed the fields this evening when it started to downpour. So I'm the GOAT for the day. However, they're going very well. Everybody down participating with our field space. I commend every one of them. I'm there in the mornings. I'm there in the afternoons. Coaches are taking it remarkably seriously. The kids they're really soldiers out there. I mean, they're really doing it. They're managing themselves and comporting themselves with these new rules. Just they need to be commended for this. And it's a lot of work to try to do something like this. So anybody who's trying to run a program right now, give them a round of applause, because it's no joke, and they're doing very well. As far as the tournaments go, there are spectators' participation. There's a lot of people down there. If anything, that could stand to be improved a little bit, but there's always a question as whether or not these are families together. But everybody's seemingly very happy down there and doing their level best. So sports are coming. The real question for us all is schools. I think it's the big question for everybody these days in some capacity. And I segue into that around the recreational sports because, well, there's a lot of questions as to how and what is going to be able to be run under what conditions on the school properties. Even though we care for the field, we schedule the fields and all of that kind of stuff, in this circumstance, we're really sharing a space. And so, using those spaces, there are, the SEAC rules are very stringent. And I think it's going to be much more difficult for people to participate and stay rigidly consistent with the rules on the school properties unless they lessen some of the restrictions. So that we're just waiting that out with everybody else. We've been in communication with all of our various user groups before any of this. Currently, what they're using and what the likelihood of the regulations and requirements will be as we move into the fall. So that's the short story. Other things going on in town, probably of note, is that All the way down to Christian Heritage and all the way up through and connecting to Tate. So that's
You froze up there for about 30 seconds. Maybe could you back just a little bit?
where was I? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
You said one of the other projects in town and then you froze up.
Sorry. One of the other projects is the new section of Rails to Trails broke ground this week. If you've seen the activity down on White Plains Road, that's what that is. That's the section that will really finish the entire corridor. It'll go from Tate Mill down that parking lot and pretty much all the way down to Christian Heritage in that general area. All new sidewalks and a whole host of other improvements all through that area. Any other questions? Anything?
How's it going with the restrooms being closed?
As far as the tournaments and whatnot, all of the leagues have provided their participants with porta-johns. And so far, so good. We started, making some headway in them slowly but surely. So, we've got some of the plumbing back into the walls. Some of the floors are put back. So far, so good because the activity level hasn't really gone off the Richter scale. But certainly not the best of offerings to the community. But I wouldn't know honestly how we would keep those clean currently. We would clearly have to reprioritize whatever else we're currently doing to put a full court press on the sanitary protocols, and they're significant. Right now, we're struggling with our existing staff and contracted services in order to keep the municipal buildings running. It's quite stringent, and we would have to apply the same kind of rules. So we would be putting multiple people multiple times throughout the day just cleaning restrooms to be able to provide that service. We're cleaning the pools on a shortened operational day 3 times a day, and that's the bare minimum. So it would be a bit of a challenge to open those up otherwise, and accept that responsibility for the town.
Is that pool being performed by like the lifeguards that are there? Or do we have to have a park employee there to perform that in between groups?
We have lifeguards doing some of the cleaning, and our own staff when they're there. So our staff does it first thing in the morning, does the deep clean. We do a full clean through of the entire bathroom and the decks and all the touch points. And then the second one, so really it's being done 4 times a day, actually. And they do a shutdown cleaning cycle. So it's both, to answer your question.
Okay. Anyone else have a question for Dimitri?
Well, Dee, you mentioned the Rails to Trails. It seems to me a really good idea having the policemen up on 111 crossing, over Old Mine Road there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a change, right?
Yeah, I mean, that has sort of been a directive by our first selectman. It just became clear that we were not going to stop people from walking down the road and attempting to cross it. And so that's just a safety measure, just to try to prevent a very bad situation.
Yeah.
And that's just on weekends anyway, I think, right?
Yes.
Anyone else have a question for Dimitri?
The concerts are back, huh?
Concerts have been well attended. Didn't mention that. And we've had a couple of movie nights as well down at Twin Brooks. We're having, well, if it doesn't rain tomorrow, we'll be having another one tomorrow evening. We've had, between 80 and 100 at the, probably at both. Movies are in that general range, and depending on the concert, that's about the number of participants at the Green.
So the concerts are at Town Hall?
Yes.
Okay, and then where's the movies exactly in Twin Brooks?
In the big field, right behind or to the side of the playground. So we pull all of our power off of the comfort station and people park, and then they just circle out there on blankets.
Cool.
Something to do.
Yep. Good idea.
That's great. Okay, anyone else? Have any questions? Wow. Very good, Dee. You were very succinct, and no one has any questions.
That's always dangerous with me, right?
All right, if no one has any questions and there's no further information that needs to be brought forward, does someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, is there anyone who does not want to adjourn?
Really? Really?
Okay, meeting is adjourned. Good night. We'll contact you with the next meeting date.
Good night.